Natasha Price and Adam Sheppard. Big round of applause, please. We're going to make this work. Here you go, Tash.
Oh, yes, I'll have that. Hello. That was interesting getting up that ramp.
It was fun.
That was fun.
It'll be more fun going down it. I'm not going to lie.
So, I mean, clearly as wheelchair users, we have some stories to share with you today. That's pretty obvious. Anybody in a wheelchair could come up and tell you some stories about their life and their journey. And we are going to do that, but we're also going to... This clicker's not working. Keep pressing. Right one. Aha. There we go. It's okay. It's working now.
Good job.
So we're going to tell you a little bit about our whys and how our journeys have led to our why, led to our passion, led to our purpose, and obviously the impact we're able to make as a result of that today.
Excellent. So, hey, everyone. My name's Adam. So, first up, so I've been a wheelchair user my whole life. Who's heard of a disability called spina bifida? Anyone? Lots of you. Cool. So I was born with that, been a wheelchair user my whole life. Along with that comes a lot of health issues over the years. You're prone to a lot of different things, but because we only have 17 minutes, I'm not going to go through all that. Except
it would take a while.
It would take a while, yeah. 41 years of that take a while. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start you off in 2018 when, over the period of about 7 or 8 months, I'd been progressively getting more and more unwell. And I kept going to my GP and saying to him, I'm really unwell, something's not right, we need to figure out what this is. And my GP kept saying to me, and great guy, but he kept saying to me, it's just a virus, it'll pass. And I kept going back to him, and I wasn't letting it lie. I kept going back and I said to him, something's not right, we need to work this out, we need to find out what's going on, I know my own body, I know something's not right. And I just kept getting the same response. It's just a virus. It'll pass eventually. As I said, it was about 7 or 8 months. I went back to him and I said, we need to, like, I'm getting worse. It was that feeling of the wheels were falling off. And I hope they're not going to fall off tonight because that would be bad. But it was that real feeling of things aren't right and things are getting worse. So after a little persuasion, more persuasion, we did some testing. We found out that my kidneys were failing on me. At that particular time, I was running on 10% kidney function. So I'd been going all that time with my kidneys failing. So I ended up in hospital, found a really, really good kidney specialist that I was under the care of. And I'll never forget this. On the second day I was in hospital, he comes in and there's this big 6'6", 5", really tall dude anyway. I mean, I don't know. I'm really short, so. And he comes in and he looks at me and he goes, I'm putting you on the same drug Lance Armstrong used to cheat with. And I thought, you ripper.
Woohoo!
Does that mean I'm going to be able to ride a bike? Because I can't now. But in the same voice, in the same breath, he looked at me and he said, you're really lucky. He said, another 1 or 2 days at home. And he said, you were just going to go to sleep and not wake up. Because the kidney issues had bottomed out my blood pressure so low that I really shouldn't have been able to function. Yet for whatever reason, I was still able to go to work. I felt rubbish. Like I said, I felt rubbish, but I was still able to function. The worst part about that whole experience was I had that young guy over there on the far left photo over there. That's my son, Fletcher.
He's not talking about himself right now. You weren't young.
I'm not young anymore. Fletcher was not even a year old. And I had the doctor telling me that I had potentially 1 or 2 days and I just was going to go to sleep and not wake up. Talk about a holy shit moment. It's pretty scary. So that sort of kick-started a catalyst for me. And then again in 2022, so it was actually just over a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, I ended up back in hospital with more health issues, this time with my feet, something that and yes, I did used to have feet, as you can see. I had more health issues with something that had been a recurring issue for me. I had bad circulation in my feet. And the doctor came in, it was the same specialist that I had, came in and he said to me, well, you know the drill here, Adam. You're going to be here for a week on IV antibiotics, then there's wound care, and there's ongoing health care with all that sort of stuff. And I said, you know what, I'm done. I made the call, back when I had my kidney issues, I made the call that whatever I had to do to live a good life and a full life and reduce my risk of, health issues and ending up in that same situation I was going to do. So I said to the doctor, you know what, get rid of my legs. I'm 40 years old, I've never used them, they're no good to me. Get rid of them.
You just wanted an excuse to get legless, really.
I did. And lose a bit of weight. Funnily enough, I didn't actually lose that much weight. I really didn't. So that photo there is after I've just had the second amputation done. So I went into the hospital, I had a couple of days on IV antibiotics just to get rid of a little bit of the infection or get rid of the infection in my leg. And then I went in for the first surgery. And I said to the doctor, I said to the specialist before I went in, I'd really love it if you can do both legs at once because I really don't want to come back and do this again. And he said, look, and like every good surgeon, he's like, we'll do what we can. I'm like, yep, cool. So I woke up from surgery and I opened one eye and I looked down and I still had one leg. I was like, oh, shit. And then he said to me, look, we had some problems. Your blood pressure bottomed out quite badly on the table, so we had to pull up stumps. Sorry, bad joke. And go again. So I got a really warped sense of humour, eh?
We
I
both
really
do. You'll notice.
Yeah. So I came out of surgery. I had the rest of that week in hospital. I was able to go home that weekend. I was pretty well healed. Went home that weekend. Went back in on the Monday. Had the second leg done. Spent that week in hospital recovering. Then was back at work on the following Monday.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. So from that, after those two, I call them my catalyst moments, try and speak. That really kick-started in me. What did I really want to get out of life? What was I'm most passionate about? And that's really, it was most about getting the most out of life and being able to do everything that I wanted to do in life and do it well and show what people with disabilities can really do and live a good and full and happy life. So we started on this journey together.
We did.
We did, you poor soul.
I know, and I'm stuck with you now. And I guess it's led to all the awesome things you're doing in this photo.
Yeah, so, we do a lot of speaking. Tash will tell you she's a wheelchair racer, so we'll get into that. But I push a few races every now and then in this chair, which I can tell you is kind of hard work. I was also selected back in year 2000 as Olympic torchbearer, so that's that bottom photo on the left there. And I love iFly. Has anybody done iFly before? It is the most fun. I mean, I've never jumped out of a plane, so yeah. And I don't
never get you jumping out of a plane.
No, probably not. No. I like to keep my wheels firmly on the ground. But iFly, if you haven't done it, you need to do it. It's awesome fun. So that led me to my why, and my why was all about showing what people with disabilities can do and showing other people with disabilities and health issues and that sort of thing, what life can be and how great life can be and how to get past the challenges that we all face. Some of us are just, the challenges are just a little bit more in your face.
That's true. And the one thing he never ever mentions in this slide deck when he looks at when he goes through these photos is this little photo up here in the top corner, which is of you winning Man of the Year just a couple of weeks ago, actually.
I did.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and my journey to where I am now and the things I'm doing. As you can see from the photographs, things are a little bit different for me now to what they have been in the past. I actually went to bed as normal on Christmas Day 2008. The next morning, I woke up totally blind in my right eye. Within a week of that, I was totally blind in both eyes, couldn't see the difference between night and day. Now, because it was Christmas at the time, I guess I ignored it a little bit, and it was impossible to get a doctor's appointment, optician's appointment, or anything like that. And because I'm a type 1 diabetic, I thought, I'm sure it's just something to do with my diabetes. We tend to have eye issues. I'll be all right. She'll be all right. She'll be fine. Big mistake. I eventually got an appointment at the optician's and ended up in hospital. They rushed me straight there. And it turned out that I had swelling of my optic nerve behind my eyes. So to you guys out there, I know my eyes look totally normal, but I'm in fact low vision in my left eye and totally blind still in my right. And that's because things weren't treated quick enough at the time. I was sent off to a rehab hospital in the little town that I was in the UK at the time, and it was actually in an aged care home because there was no rehab facility for me there. And I was sent there to get used to life as a blind person, get used to using a white cane and living my life, my day-to-day. 1 month later, I started getting pain in my back. Within a couple of days, that pain started moving down my legs, into my thighs, down past my knees and into my ankles and my toes, followed by really, really intense tingling. The next morning, I woke up paralyzed from the waist down. Now, the doctors and the medical team still had absolutely no idea what was going on with me and what the cause of this was. So once again, I was rushed back into hospital, tested, poked, prodded, and given emergency treatments, which included chemotherapy and a procedure called plasmapheresis, which is basically done with a dialysis machine where your blood is cleaned of its plasma and replaced. They found out that my immune system was attacking itself and diagnosed me with an extremely rare condition called neuromyelitis optica, a little bit like multiple sclerosis. Anyway, I underwent rehab, stayed there for quite some time. Now, at the time, my entire extended family were here in Australia, and as you can tell from my accent, I'm from the UK. I don't think I've lost it yet. I don't think I ever will.
No, you haven't.
Although when I go back there, occasionally they say to me, Tash, you sound really Aussie these days. I'm like, no, I don't. Anyway, so my entire family were here. I was stuck in the UK, and I was completely bedbound, unable to do anything for myself. I was trying to get used to this new life. I was homeless. I'd lost my home because I'd had nowhere. I'd lost it because of being out of work and not being able to do anything with my time whilst I was in hospital. I was sent home eventually after some time, and I guess that during that time I had to relearn everything and do some fundraising to try and get back to here to Australia with my family. I came back, started to settle into life here, and roll around 2012. I had gone into hospital to have a feeding tube fitted in my stomach, something to treat it because it was paralyzed and I was vomiting about 60 times a day. And whilst in hospital, getting ready for surgery that day, I'm at the sink, cleaning my teeth in the corner of the room. Bang. That's when it happened. Next thing I remember is waking up, head slumped over the sink, water pouring down my face, choking me, all going up my nose, into my mouth. I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't communicate to anyone what was wrong. I couldn't move a single part of my body, nothing. I couldn't shout, I couldn't scream, I couldn't get help. And all I was thinking in my head is, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. What's going on? Shit, this can't be happening. After what felt like an absolute eternity, I was lifted up by someone, a wardsman I'm gathering, I don't really remember, and carried over to the bed. I was left there for some time before the nursing staff came in, started poking and prodding me. I had visions of everything that happened to me when I had my initial issues with the condition. The next morning, the doctor comes in. He was this tall bloke with wily hair. Looked a little bit like Einstein, I'm told. I couldn't really see him, but I could see his outline. He sat down on the corner of my bed and he's gone, "Do you know what, Tash? You're just going to have to get used to this life from here on in. That's it for you. Sorry, but, you know, I can't see things improving." And I remember thinking to myself at the time, hell no, no way. I'm not allowing this to be my life. I am not going to lose my independence, what little independence I have. I'm not going to allow this to take over my life. But it's really, really funny how the thoughts and opinions of the people that are supposed to have your back can really get into here. I went home a few months later, and I chose to spend all day, every day in bed watching TV. I've always dealt with everything with good humor, but I didn't push myself because I'd been told my life would amount to nothing, that all I could do would be to watch TV. That would be it. And I was happy enough, but there was something inside of me that was burning, that needed to be dealt with. One day, I'm sat there listening to the TV. I've got this huge 65-inch TV screen in my bedroom, quite close to my bed, so that I can see a little bit of what's going on. And on the TV came the Gold Coast Marathon with wheelchair racers at the start of the race. And I saw the athlete, Kurt Fernley, come on the TV. Now, for those of you who don't know him, he's an incredible human being. He is an Olympic gold medalist, a world record holder. He is an absolute champion. I saw him do the marathon, and I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. My parents were sat on the couch underneath my TV, and they're kind of like, yeah, sure, honey, yeah, okay. I mean, at the time, I couldn't even get out of bed unaided. I was having to get carers and family to wipe my own backside. There was nothing I could do for myself. 12 months to that day, I did my first marathon. 42 kilometers with my arms. Now, the reason I tell you this story isn't to brag, it's to show what is possible with the right mindset and the right tools and the support from the correct networks. We both come along with our passion and purpose and our love of life and our love of advocacy, and I guess utilizing our stories for change, to make an impact. We tell them in such a way that we want to tap into people's hearts and minds so they want to make change for the disabled community. And the best way of us doing that is to be visible. Visibility for disability. So I am now a wheelchair racer. I'm Gold Coast Woman of the Year, an author, a podcaster, a multiple award winner. I'm a Queensland record holder, international marathon winner, and that's all happened in the last 5 years because of the belief I had in myself and the power of my why, and I guess I have to owe some of it to my coach.
Your coach is pretty awesome.
Yeah, maybe, a little bit. But those whys have led to us becoming Team InvincAble. We call ourselves InvincAble because we have the ability to put up the middle finger to the shit that life has thrown at us and show it invincibility and keep moving past our challenges. And there's a little quote here on screen that I'll get Adam to read out because we love it and we live by this.
Harness the emotion behind your why to become your superpower. I know we were talking about Simon Sinek earlier, and if some of you haven't heard of Simon Sinek before, I absolutely encourage you to check him out. Check his stuff. Maybe not check him out, unless that's your thing. But
it's a bit much.
But his stuff is fantastic. So yeah,
absolutely. And we go along. We talk about resilience. We talk about passion. We talk about purpose and harnessing your emotions in order to have a positive impact on your life and have a positive impact in those around you. And I think we might just end with this because we've gone over time as usual.
We've gone over a little bit, yeah. It's not about what you do, what you lost. It's about how you accept it and move forward.
exactly right.
I think you put that cartoon up there quite appropriately.
I
for me,
did,
didn't
because
you?
it reminds me of you, and it talks a lot about exactly what we talk about as an organisation. Not only giving visibility to disability, but showing people how they overcome their challenges and adapt to their own situations. So, thank you.
Thank you.